This is why it's better to have one friend that you hang out with regularly instead of having a big group of friends. And trust me, you're going to want to listen to this story time. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I was kind of going through an identity crisis, and low-key still am. I went to a predominantly white school for the majority of my life, so let's just say I was extremely whitewashed. It was one of those times in my life where if a white person said the N-word around me, I would just laugh. Not because I didn't know it was wrong, but because I wanted to be accepted and I wanted to be like everybody else, and I seeked validation. Sophomore year was really when I started to become who I am today. I wanted to learn way more about my culture and my background, so I started becoming friends with people from other schools that are more diverse. Eventually, I met this group of girls, and I thought these girls were going to be the sweetest girls I would ever meet. Now, this friend group was serving flavor. I'm talking diverse to the T. One night, we decided that we were going to spend the night at one of the girls' houses. Let's call this girl Sally. I kept getting lost on the way to Sally's house, and I thought it was because I didn't know the area that well. Keep in mind, that's what I thought was the reason. I get there and we watch like 4 or 5 movies before I end up falling asleep. And when I wake up, I was in a room full of grown-ass men staring at me. Storytime part 2 of why it's better to have one loyal friend instead of a big group of friends. I forgot to mention in part 1 that when I arrived, the men were already there. Mind you, we were in sophomore year. These men looked like they were in college. So I was already a little thrown off, but I trusted it because I was with my friend. When I wake up, these men are like staring at me. But they try to look away really fast, but I could tell that they were staring at me. I start thinking the worst of the worst. I try to think of any possible way that I could get out of there, whether it was physically or mentally. So I pretend to fall asleep just to escape the reality of it. But then one of the men at the bottom of the bed starts rubbing my feet. I immediately kick my leg so I can get his hands off. Now I'm thinking he's gonna be mad and I'm gonna get fucking attacked. So I try to make small talk to loosen the tension. So I look at the guys and I'm like, hey, do you know where the girls went? One of them looks at me and says, oh, they went home. So I'm like, I thought this was Sally's house. And they say nothing. So at this point, I think I'm being set up. I try my best to not make it seem like I'm suspicious of them. I casually act like I need to pee. Walk into the bathroom and I see a window. Automatically something clicks in my mind, get the fuck out of there. Making part 3 right now. Part 3 of why you should have one loyal friend instead of hanging out with a big group of friends. So I go into the bathroom and there's a window. I'm thinking to myself, I would be so dumb. I would be so extremely, incredibly stupid to go back into that room full of grown-ass men that I've never met before, instead of making my escape through that window right here, right now. So I trusted my gut and I got the fuck out of there. Mind you, I'm in my PJs right now. No shoes, no socks. I'm making my great escape. Call me Pablo Escobar. While I was doing all of it, I was in disbelief. Like, I cannot believe that I'm escaping, like, right now. Like, this is actually insane. Like, I did what I believed was right at the moment. And honestly, that decision might be the reason why I'm alive right now. So I make a run for it. I immediately run to the front of the neighborhood. I hide behind some trees and then I call my sister. I call my sister instead of my parents because my mom was the one who drove me there. And if she knew that something bad happened, she wouldn't have let me go out again. I'm frantically explaining everything on the phone to my sister. She literally speeds to come get me. When she gets there, I immediately hop in her car and we get the fuck out of there. On our way home, I get a text from Sally. Last part is part 4. I'm making that right now. Part 4 of why you should have one loyal friend instead of having a big group of friends. So I'm on my way home and I get a text from Sally. Hey girl, where are you? We went to the gas station to get some milkshakes. You could have came with, but you were already asleep. I didn't even respond. I just blocked all of them because I know damn well that they were not getting milkshakes. Because 1, why didn't they wake me up to get milkshakes? Because I wasn't the first person to fall asleep. I'd never fall asleep first at somebody's house with a big group of people. I saw somebody else who looked like they were sleeping, so I thought that I was good to fall asleep too. 2, why were all those grown ass men there? Nobody told me that they were going to be there. Like I said, we were sophomores. These men were in college. Maybe even graduated from college. They were grown. 3, why would she lie about it being her house? 4, why did the boy say she went home? And remember when I said I kept getting lost because I didn't know the area? Once I went back to look through the messages that I had with those girls to see if there was anything fishy going on, I noticed that they were all sending me different addresses. Either one number would be off or a letter would be off. They definitely were planning something because they were trying to get me there late. I haven't seen or talked to those girls since then. So this is the story of the first time I encountered the KKK. I'd just like to say I live in a very, very racist part of Ohio. This is nothing new. This is not a shocker. I wasn't very surprised when this happened, more scared. Let's just get right into it. So when me and my sister still lived in the same house, we would always go and drive around just to get away from this toxic household. And sometimes we'd take late night drives to McDonald's. On the way to McDonald's, there's this like abandoned gun factory. And sometimes people go there to like do whatever. I'm guessing that some people are over there doing drugs. Some people might meet up there just to get it in. Who really knows what's going on? But it's just very scary. It's eerie. It's like weird. I'm actually currently fixing it up right now, but at the time it was still like run down. So one night my sister woke me up and she was like, hey, do you want to go get McDonald's? It was like 3 a.m. I was like, you know what, some chicken nuggets sounds so good right now. Let me just go ahead and go with her. That ended up being the worst decision I've ever made. So we were on our way there and my sister's car breaks down right in front of the factory. Like for part 2. This is part 2 of the first time I encountered the KKK. I would just like to clarify, yes, this did happen more than once. So my sister's car broke down right in front of the abandoned gunpowder factory at 3 a.m. in the morning. So we're fearing for our lives because there's all types of rumors about what goes on in that factory, especially at night. Immediately we call the police and they say that they're on their way. I had to wait like 20 to 30 minutes before the police came. And me being me, you know, I was making my little jokes or whatever. I literally turned to my sister and I said, imagine if we just see the KKK, like just come out of the woods. And shit, I must have cast a spell or something because they're them niggas work. All of a sudden, they're coming out of the woods, walking towards our car. I'm looking at my sister like, so what's the plan? Because as of right now, it's your responsibility to save my life. So, you know, we're bouncing ideas back and forth. Do we make a run for it? Do we stay in the car and just hope they don't break in? And right when they were within 6 feet of the car, police show up. It was 2 police officers. One of them tried to like run after them. They ran in the woods, so I guess they just let them go. Make it home safely and nobody gets hurt. Me and my sister never went on that road at nighttime ever again. Storytime, how a white girl ripped my wig off in school. This happened in freshman year or sophomore year. I can't remember the exact year. It was only like a year or 2 ago. I'm now graduated, but I'm supposed to be a junior. I just graduated early because I'm smart or whatever. But let's get into the story. So this year of high school, I had gym class first period. Can we just talk about how that should be a crime? We didn't have enough time to shower. I don't think we were allowed to. We'd have to go to our next period all sweaty, stinky, just nasty. So in that gym class, there were 2 of my close friends. I had to play basketball or something, so we were all on the same team. One of the close friends that I had in that class were getting really upset with me and my other friend because we weren't putting in any effort. I was just the type of person that would always have my makeup and hair done. And I was not about to show up to history class with my crush across the room smelling like 10 cans of Bounce That Ass. So yeah, she basically got upset with me and my other friend, but we didn't think it was that serious. Next thing you know, rumors were going around that she was talking about me and that I was talking about her. Then the next day, I'm over there in gym class running on the treadmill, barely, just doing a little jog. And here comes Miss Wig Snatcher and she starts going off on me. Like for a part 2. Part 2 of how a white girl ripped my wig off in school. So the next day in gym class, she comes up to me and starts going off on me. I had just gotten off the treadmill. I had no energy to argue with this girl. So I just stood there and I stared at her and I continued to ask her, are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? She wasn't done, child. She wasn't done. So I proceeded to pull out my phone. I start to record her to show my parents exactly how I get treated in that school for no reason. She had the audacity, the nerve. She charges at me and tries to smack the phone out of my hand. I still have this video in my phone, but I'm not going to post it just for privacy reasons. She misses my phone because I dodged that shit, but she did hit me on my arm. I said, this is an issue. I know this Caucasian female did not put her hands on me. Like I said, I had just gotten off the treadmill. I was way too tired. I was way too tired to beat the brakes off this bitch. So I was like, you know what? Violence isn't the answer. Let me go to administration. As some of you know, the administration at the school that I went to was trash. They did absolutely nothing. Therefore, I took matters into my own hands. I was gonna get her the next day. Part 3 of the white girl ripping my wig off in school. So I go home and start plotting. Go straight to my mom and I said, Mom, I got disrespected. She said, oh, what happened? So I go ahead and show her the video and give her context. She looked at me and she said, if you get into a fight tomorrow, you get your wig snatched. Do not come to me crying. I said, say less. I got this shit in the bag. Something in my spirit was telling me all I need is bobby pins. Just to clarify, I had just started wearing wigs. I did not know how it was supposed to go. I did not know what I was doing. I thought some bobby pins and some change was gonna do it. So this girl was like twice my size and I was thinking, what reason would she have to pull my hair? Like she already has the advantage. All my friends was telling me, Bennett, don't fight her. Like she's bigger than you. I said, fuck all that. I'm getting my boop boop in regardless. I showed up to school next day already. I'm ready. Like I had my girlfriends bring me extra bobby pins. And that shit was secure. Nobody ripping this off. I said, ain't no talking. I'm just gonna swing. Period. That's exactly what I did. She came up to me. She said, so I heard. I said, bop. She yanked my shit. So I said, bop, bop again. I get my little boop boops in, realizing that my wig is not secure. Eventually it comes off and people are like, ah, she got her wig ripped off. I said, but I promise you she won't touch me again. And she didn't. Period. Let me tell y'all about one of the most craziest things that has ever happened to me. So it was cuffing season or whatever. Me and my friend had both recently gotten into relationships. Well, for me it wasn't exactly a relationship, it was kind of just dating. They had suggested, why don't we go on a double date? I'm not a very big fan of double dates, but I was like, whatever, we can do it this one time. We all agreed to meet up at the movies. So I get to the movies and I see my date walking inside. It's weird because he had texted me earlier and told me that he was gonna be late. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I go inside and I catch up to him. I go up to him and I'm like, hey, what's going on? He just stares at me. He's looking mad confused. And he's like, oh, I'm good, but where's your friend? And I'm looking at him like, what you asking about her for? Like, I'm not standing right here in front of you looking all cute. What you asking about her for? You know what? I let it go. I'm like, let's just go get snacks. So we get into the line to buy snacks. My best friend walks in. I'm like, hey girl, I kid you not, this was her exact reaction. And then she proceeds to grab my man and kiss him right in front of me. In front of me. Hey, right in front of my eye. Like for part 2. Part 2 of one of the craziest things that has ever happened to me. My friend kisses my date right in front of me. And I take a second to think, Do I fuck her up right here in public with everybody watch? Should I wait until we get into the actual movie so I can sneak her since it starts? But you know what? I decided to take a deep breath. I ask her, like, what is going on here? She goes, why don't you tell me? No one has ever been this bold to me, to my face. So I genuinely do not know what to say in this moment. At this point in time, I'm speechless. My fight or flight has been activated and my arms are about to go on WMM. If you don't know what WMM is, it stands for windmill mode. Let me demonstrate. All jokes aside though, I look at her and I'm like, okay, really explain yourself because I'm about to fuck you up. She said, why did I walk in here seeing you being all close to my boyfriend? I said, your boyfriend? I told her, like, that is literally my date. And then she goes, so did you set this whole thing up to try to, like, steal him from me? At that point, I'm done talking. I'm like, okay, let's go outside. We really go outside, about to fight. Next thing you know, my date walks in. Me and my friend go, they're twins.